It's been a long time, stars. Welcome. We're live here on House of Tanya. What do all these controls mean? Let's look for some sort of filter. These filters don't seem to do much. Bubbles. Dance. Dream. Glamour. Does that look glamorous? I don't know. 8mm. Gee. Documentary? Weird. Let's see. Dawn? No. Glow? I don't know. I kind of like just regular. I kind of like looking regular. Beam. Maybe that's doing something. Little check mark. And I figured we would just have a chat because, our friend Kate Middleton has popped back on the scene, stars, after 6 months of being missing in action, but it looks like she might be just fine, right? She might just have needed a rest, whether that's for preventative cancer reasons or for other reasons, right? It's come to our attention that she may have been spending the last several years living apart from her husband. Now, that's unconfirmed, but certainly we see Prince William continuing to do solo activities. Ain't nothing gonna stop his stride. He is very much giving single father. He's very much giving man about town. He's very much giving us, maybe he's kind of done, right? Maybe he's made all the effort that he intends to make at giving us back the Kate and William combo that was, an impressive, it had an impressive run for a long time, right? Queen Elizabeth had the vision. She's the person that said, hey, you know what? I think it would be cool if you married a commoner, right? This is apparently one of Kate Middleton's favorite foods, Marmite. It is a yeast extract spread. It's quite salty, but we have that in her honor. Her certainly hope she's making a recovery in all ways. Some people suggested there may have been some sort of mental health issue, but if the stories we're hearing about the neighbor to the estate in Norfolk, right? Rose Hanbury and her husband, David Cholmondeley. What is he? The king's lord in waiting, the guy who carries the hat during the coronation and similar events. If it's true that Rose Hanbury's husband, David, has been spending most of his years abroad in France with an art collector, right? If it is in fact true that Kate and William aren't living together, that Kate is living at Adelaide Cottage down in the Windsor estate area, and he's way far away in Norfolk at Anmer Hall, the estate that he requested his grandmother buy for him right after his marriage, then, we could be looking at Splitsville. We could be looking at a situation that isn't exactly, happy-go-lucky. Let's take the, health mystery out of it, whether it's cancer, preventative chemo. Some people suggested a lift, a rejuvenation. I don't think so, right? Certain pictures showed a scar that extended from Kate's brow all the way into the occipital bone area, right? It looked like not an avulsion, not an incision, not an abrasion. It looked like a laceration or a hard fall. And it looked like it took 41 stitches. And if that's what we're looking at, then, that it makes a little bit more sense why Kate wasn't exactly camera ready these past few months. So, what do I have on my face? Well, friends, hello. Hello, Truly Alta F. Hello, Villads Olsen, Doom, Bukya Srinath. I appreciate you rocking with me. But, I just wanted to talk about the concept of we've been gotten used to not having Kate Middleton around, not at public events, not running around town doing errands. The whole mystery of the farm shop body double, right? All those AI photos. It's all evaporated like the morning dew because we saw what ostensibly was Kate at Trooping the Color last Saturday. But how is Kate not going to go see Taylor Swift? That's what I don't understand. What do I have on my face? Sweat absorbing lotion from our friends at Carpe. You apply to a clean face in the morning, paying attention to areas of specific concern, such as the forehead. Touch up throughout the day by lightly rubbing onto target areas. That would be great if you were barefaced, but I actually put this over moisturizer, castor oil, and sunscreen. And I have to say, I went to my friend's reading of his screenplay, and I was in a rush and I was perspiring, and the makeup has stayed on my face. What did I put on my face? Well, you might be appalled to learn that I actually have been getting into some of my makeup left over from Halloween. And, I do have pale concealers, but I do enjoy this Fantasy Makers paint pot from Wet n Wild. This is the one that's white. And so, in the spirit of it's the weekend, I'm going to do whatever. What I did do was just take a finger into this paint pot and put it into the places that need brightening, right? People have talked about, oh, just use a pale concealer, something that's lighter than your complexion. Well, this is certainly lighter. And I do like the way that once it's blended in, it gives you a skin-like finish, right? It gives you lightening and it gives you a skin-like finish. It's not exactly a color, right? For underpainting, this white shade just sort of blend it out, and you make it a little bit sheer, but to just give you some brightness without going yellow, without going pink, before you get your complexion product on, right? Blend, 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 tap into place, right? Where are we going? We're just going to the gym. But I think it's highly likely that Kate Middleton has had enough, right? Enough of seeing Rose Hanbury running around. I hope this isn't a mosquito bite on my face. It doesn't itch. Maybe it's just a blemish. I have been working out, right? We got to go back into that double belt world that, can wear on your middle section. So, upping your efforts in the gym can be helpful to long-term comfort, right? I also say highlight right here by the mouth. Some people have a little 5 o'clock shadow mustache, but I don't necessarily feel like I need this area brightened, but I just do it to experiment, right? Some people say put a bit by the eye area to lift, right? And then do some parallel work with contour. I personally like to have a bright temple. I know I see people dragging their contour and blush all the way up into there, and I don't necessarily agree with that, right? Lovely mirror. It's got a magnifying side and a non-magnifying side, and it'll sit, which is helpful. But do you see what I'm saying? Where am I from? I am from the USA, and I am currently in Hollywood, conducting my television and related business. How about you, Vikrant Kumar? You sound like you're from maybe South Asia just by origin. But yeah, this Kate Middleton, trying to survive in that raggedy royal family. I don't think they've treated her all that well. And I think that, in turn, she hasn't treated certain folks like Beatrice and Eugenie right? Prince William's first cousins, as well as Meghan Markle that well, right? But these are learned behaviors, right? Like you're going back to work, right? I've already seen one of my colleagues, somebody filmed her at work and put her on another platform, on the Clock app, I'm sure without her knowledge, you know, questioning whether she's competent at her job. Now, I interpret this as salt because whoever posted this probably doesn't have a job, right? So, you always have to kind of read human nature and anticipate people's hostility and negativity and just, give them room to be themselves, right? Old Kate Middleton wanted to rule the roost. She didn't want Meghan Markle around. She made that clear. She looked like she was going to headbutt her, right? What was that? Was it a funeral? Was it the Queen Elizabeth funeral? Where, big giant Kate walked over to little tiny Meghan Markle and acted like, she was Tim Tebow. It wasn't cute. It wasn't feminine. It wasn't soft, right? Maybe she broke character. Now, here's a mystery powder from You Are Glam. You get this at Daiso, the Japanese dollar store, right? But rather than using this puff directly on this makeup, I'm going to use this little triangle puff to take some of this powder off, get right into the component itself. Just get a little powder on there and see what we do. You should ask your mom whether it squirts. She probably would know better what's going on, and maybe that's how you got here, right? That would be my suggestion. Peyton J. My goodness. But thank you for showing up to my live, But our friend Kate Middleton, right? Everyone thinks that everything's going to go their way. That they can play thug and, bully people. And then now everybody wants people to feel sorry for them. Where was the feeling sorry for other people, in their time of need, whether it's miscarriage or racism? Tyrone Payne, you here trying to encourage him and his nonsense? That powder isn't terrible at all. It comes in the tiniest little package you've ever seen. I've never actually tried it before. But, your man William he's a man about town. He went over there, busted a move, looking at Taylor Swift, feeling all excited. He was in the mix. Tom Cruise was hanging out with Prince William. And I know some of you are just here to talk, talk naughty, and you don't really care about Kate Middleton. But that's okay, right? I welcome you just the same. Your friend Travis Kelce was there, right? It's so funny to see big old Travis Kelce dancing up a storm with his brother. And I think his brother was piping up saying, we're American. We don't give a damn about royal family, right? But they were over there doing their American business, collecting all those British coins and pence to bring them home to mama, right? To farm money out of them people with their tunes and celebrity and be famous and all that stuff. And we applaud it, right? Why not? Why not? Right? Just taking this powder out of the cap, tapping it into our hand, just to make it even. And just to see, what kind of powder payoff we get with this product. Now, this powder is from a cosmetic line made for the Japanese market, right? So undertone wise, you have people who are either pale and cool or a little bit yellow in complexion. And for me, that works just fine, right? Affordable. Bet it looks like an Arby's sandwich. What, your mom? I don't know if your mom would want to share that, but different cultures have different attitudes about, sharing things in the family, right? A quick Google search will tell you that. And as such, you know, you can probably get a lot of mileage out of your friends at Google. Mm-hmm. Find just what you need. All your curiosity, all of your delicious Arby's sandwich metaphors, go right on over there to Google. Search it right up. You know, maybe you have a little VPN action. Oh, yes. Right? You never know. But anyway, back to Kate Middleton. She seems like she was rested, she's been chilling, she's been not working, and some people said it was a sick out. That until the separation or divorce agreement works out the way she wants, she wasn't playing along. She wasn't going to pretend and go along with appearing at different events or working and all of that. Her attitude and her family's attitude was, why should she? Now, was that just off the top, or was your girl Kate pushed into taking steps? What happened on December 28th that led to us not seeing Kate for 6 months? Some have suggested there may have been an incident that led her to require, if not a cosmetic procedure, then stitches. And that happens. It's unfortunate when it does happen, but you know, it's certainly within the realm of possibility, right? Anyone who lives with the patriarchy that likes to show up in the comments and talk slick, is the same patriarchy that might, you know, go oops upside your head. This is a Jaclyn Hill Morphe brush. JW10. Shout out to Morphe, right? A lot of us got our feet wet in the makeup world, fooling around with affordable Morphe brushes, right? And, you know, kind of learning how to contour with affordable products like this. This is the Maybelline Master Contour in the shade. I don't guess there is a shade. Oh, it's deep. Look at that. Deep. Is it deep for all people or deep for white people? Unclear. I myself am somewhere in the middle, but I'm very sensitive to the idea of whether products are, you know, practical or going to give color payoff or be too warm. It's supposed to be contour, but look how warm it looks on me. Now, the Asian style of contour, you know, our friends who were commenting must have found something more to their liking. Maybe they took my advice and got right on Google to see, you know, what exactly they could find with the squirt and Arby's sandwich. But in any case, our friend Kate Middleton is someone who has really been serving. She's been serving fashion. She's been, you know, doing public events and events with young children and child development. But now, if she is going along with stepping away from her married life, right? We're doing Asian style contour. 1, 2, 3, right? We're reducing the size of our face to put the emphasis in the center of the face. Building up some color on the cheekbone itself, but you know, it's an endless source of drama and fascination, that royal family, because, you know, they certainly have a lot of assets, a lot of influence in the world of fashion, but I do think that they have a role to play in the world's economy, right? Some people have suggested that ultimately the royal family and the City of London are a bank, right? Just the way that people talk about Starbucks, right? When they hold your cash on their Starbucks cards, that they're operating like a bank, that there's value there. And you multiply that by the number of people who store money, either with that bank, with that city, with that coffee shop. And that allows the company or the holder of those financial assets to, you know, make moves financially. What are those moves? I would love to know. One person on the interwebs suggested that Kate Middleton found out a little bit too much about the royal family's business, whether that's financial business or whatever business they had with Mr. Caribbean Island, let's call him, the guy that had all the photos and had the little black book that, you know, especially around the time of, I guess the Diddy revelations happened around, I want to say around late fall last year into Christmas. That when that scandal broke, and remember there was a day on which pictures were released of Prince Harry, as if Prince Harry was alone partying with Diddy. But then Sussex Squad got on the case and they showed that when you didn't crop the picture, the full picture had William in the picture. So whether it was simply a party, I think the particular event was after one of those annual celebrations of Princess Diana's life and work, or a statue, that, you know, you go out. I don't know whether that event happened in New York or in London, probably in London. And, you know, you're on the scene. You see the people who are on the scene. And certainly, you know, Diddy was always on the scene. Does that make you guilty by association? Not necessarily. You know, all kinds of people go to Diddy parties because Diddy has a lot of parties, right? I would suggest that if you, what did Cat Williams say? If Diddy asks you to party, you got to tell him no. And if you don't tell him no, what we understand now is there's a good chance you might end up on camera. And maybe indisposed on camera, right? That part of the what's cool about hanging out with Diddy is that, you know, there's all kinds of people who would do just about anything to hang out with famous people, to quote, make connections, right? Anybody who's worked around record companies or people who do entertainment knows, or even visits the Hamptons or similar areas, Catalina. You know, there's always people around who want to make it, want to meet somebody that they think is going to help them make it, right? I put this sweat absorbing cream on, and now that I'm nervous because I'm talking to you, I'm doing nothing but sweating, but my makeup isn't moving, right? That's the test, right? We're using this contour stick that says it's deep. It's really not that deep, but you know, we're using it anyway, right? We've got it in our stash. We're yapping up a storm here live on YouTube, talking about Kate Middleton finally being back, but trying to divine what it all means. What did the Gone Girl act mean? And where is it going to go from here on out, right? If she's not back to work and she's not doing, if she's going to miss the Taylor Swift concert, if her daughter loves Taylor Swift, to not go to that concert seems like a strange choice. And it also seems like maybe it wasn't her choice. And if it wasn't her choice, then is this part of what has been negotiated? That if Kate and William will mostly cease, if not cease altogether, doing events in public together, if they are going to, you know, sort of do events separately. We certainly saw a lot of that in 2023. But if this is just kind of signposting for everybody that this is going to be what it is from now on. You know, I think we can take it. Everyone's an adult. We know people who separate or divorce or remain married and live separate lives. It's fine. No one's gonna like freak out or cry. What was difficult was the 6 months of not knowing what was up and having surgery, abdominal surgery, cancer, preventative cancer, all these phrases bandied about. But, you know, proof is in the pudding. When we saw Miss Girl, it didn't look like anything was really wrong, right? She'd been a slim shady, right? She don't carry weight. She doesn't want that. That's not her aesthetic, and that's fine. I mean, there's a whole range of people in the world who choose to, you know, who manage their health and their body weight that way. But, you know, as long as she's healthy and strong, and she certainly looked chipper, now that gave a nice blend, right? Again, we used Halloween makeup. Yes, Halloween white pancake makeup to lighten up the areas that needed to be lightened. Our friends at Wet n Wild, so affordable. You can grab it at Walmart, what was the 99-cent store, but now we hear that our friends at the Dollar Tree will reopen most locations of the 99-cent store, right? You're not trying to break the bank contractually, right? You have to show up with makeup on your face. You don't want to get there and have people play you. So if you can learn how to do your own makeup, you're going to be ahead of the game, right? You don't have to go crazy. You don't need to have 2-inch eyelashes, although I'm sure Tyrone Payne and Peyton J like that look, right? But you just want to do enough that you look like you know how to do makeup. So here's a Milani Cream Sun-Kissed Glow palette. Several different colors of cream blush. Let's go for the one in the center and see what's up, right? It seems like it's breaking up and getting sort of a layer of oil on top, but that's okay, right? Just being mindful of where we're placing it. We want to put it on top of the contour, and we don't want it to wander too far. We just want to be mindful of thinking about our face real estate and like not kind of going crazy and starting to smear it everywhere, right? Just cap off that contour and drag the blush back toward the hairline. Cap it off, right? You just want a little color. And if it feels right, you can blend it down the cheek for that boyfriend blush look, right? But you're starting by placing it very carefully and then diffusing it. Almost like it's natural. Not dragging it too low. You want to leave the highlight on the lower jaw in place because it's doing something architecturally. Am I right? I think I'm right. But yeah, we just wanted to have like a little makeup moment before we got in the gym. We're very lucky. We don't have to be at work until 11 tomorrow. We're very lucky. We have a special friend who's been, you know, making noise about cohabitating, right? You got to act like you're, you know, considering it, right? You got to consider the ego, especially when you're dealing with men. You gotta, you know, gotta play along. Doesn't matter whether you actually mean it, right? Shira 7 taught us, they're gonna lie, you do it too. They're gonna tell you what they think you want to hear. You play along, right? And is that what our friend Kate Middleton is doing? It's like, oh yeah, yep, I'm in this marriage so that you can travel without me. Yep, I sure am. I'm in this marriage so that you can leave me home when you go see Taylor Swift. Yeah, I don't want to go with my daughter to see probably her favorite artist. I mean, maybe there's someone in the UK that Charlotte might like more than Taylor Swift, but I don't see how, right? Like, you really think that Kate Middleton was like, yeah, leave me out of it. I don't want to party with Tom Cruise or Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. I don't want to have cool A-list, you know, friends or associations or good press coverage. No, William, you have that all to yourself. I'll just be home alone. It doesn't add up, right? We can do a little draping technique, right? We went for the brightest shade in the center, but there's two other shades. My poor silicone sponge. I know. It just it's just tragic, right? We can use this deeper shade to kind of hug and drape around our contour and our blush, right? People talk about sunset blush, and you don't necessarily have to get new products to try these latest techniques, right? But just sort of leaving the brighter blush shade up and blending the other one down as a support, right? As a reinforcement to what you have built. And you know, these are real world conditions, right? It's what? It's going to be 85 degrees all week in LA, and we have to go to work, right? We're going to try to deal with our body weight, right? But we're strong and we successfully fit our outfit. And now we're going to, you know, complete this makeup look and think about, you know, products that we have, products that work well. When you look at the skin, putting this Halloween white paint pot on the face underneath complexion, and then adding this cream stick contour and cream blush, it does not pill. It does not look like, I think what's frustrating about some concealers is that they go right in your pores and look crazy. Or it looks like you've got like plaster of Paris on your skin, right? It's just like you're like, ooh, I'm gonna put on makeup, and then you put it on and it's like, oh my Lord, that wasn't it. But here's a Smoke and Mirrors setting powder, right? This is a UR Glam, more like a skin colored translucent powder, but this is one that, this was our first, when we were first in these times and we had to bring our own makeup. I went right in the dollar store and I was like, yep, I have makeup, white as a sheet. But as we see, white makeup used thoughtfully doesn't have to be an absolute disaster, right? Because you get it on your powder puff, use the cap of your hand just to make it even, right? I'm not a big baker. I don't necessarily want to do that, but I am interested in setting, sharpening up the nose contour, white powder that I'm sure costs $1.29, right? $1, maybe $1 at the time, I can't remember, but we know the dollar store is no longer $1. It's white powder, but it reads on my complexion as translucent, right? We can sharpen up our contour, right? The bright area on the lower jaw, right? And then you're not, like, you know, in a way wasting your A1 product, right? We contoured in the Asian way, a C shape that shrinks the size of the face, carving out parts of the forehead and giving it dimension so it's a little bit less flat and a little bit less thumb and a little bit more shapely, right? All the girls at the at the job getting tear trough filler, right? Spending all this money getting Botox and all this extra carrying on. but yet, and I'm sure those procedures are not cheap, but at the same time, they're like, oh, can you give me a ride home? Because they can't replace their transmission. You know, it's been a tough strike, right? It's been tough for people who live in Hollywood. And, you know, I have all the sympathy in the world, but, you know, people are being, I guess, not as responsible as they could be. This is not a terrible powder. I don't even think you can get this anymore. Smoke and Mirrors, it was one of those brands that they carry, or they used to carry at the 99-cent store. Maybe you can get it online, but if you're just doing what I call throwaway makeup, you're just doing makeup before you go to the gym, you're doing makeup just to get makeup on your face and get approved by the makeup department, I'm not mad at this, right? We can go in with a set of brushes, right? Set the lid with this same powder and then go in with some eyeshadow, right? Part of what I'm contemplating is what kind of, what kind of makeup can I get away with as like law enforcement? What's gonna fly, right? Mattifying with a powder, putting on this sweat absorbing lotion and seeing what it gives. I definitely always go in with my friend Mario Lopez, his Wet n Wild Saved by the Bell Wanna Wrestle setting spray, just for the picture, right? Just so you can feel like, you can feel encouraged by this longtime television professional. And, you know, he knows what it is. He knows what it is to use setting spray and feel, you know, like you've evened your complexion and cut down shine. It's giving you some leeway as you try to cope with your excitement for being on television, right? Right, we did a little sculpty sculpt. We contoured the nose in all the places. We thought it was a little bit warm, but I have to say, the MVPs are these white makeups, right? FM, Fantasy Makers, Paint Pot by Wet n Wild. Call me crazy, but it does not look as insane as some of the thicker concealer formulations that I've been using in paler shades to highlight the highlight parts. I'm not mad at all, but let's see. Eyeshadow wise, right? A natural beat. Can we rock with Wet n Wild, right? Everyone's talking about Makeup by Mario. Not everyone has Makeup by Mario money. And on top of it, you don't want to bring your A1 palettes to work, because why? People will jack your ish. They will take your makeup, they will take your, you know, they'll take your Lululemon leggings, they'll take your Beats by Dre headphones, and they won't think twice, right? Douyin makeup, Asian makeup, highlight the inner corner and the inner third of the lid with a matte shade instead of a glitter shade, right? Daytime makeup. Are you playing a business lady? Are you playing a, you know, someone in a fancy hotel out for lunch with a colleague? Are you going to your house of worship, right? Not every makeup is a glitter, glam, shiny makeup. And I love that Wet n Wild gives you options, and whatever doesn't sell at the main retailers will end up at the dollar store, right? Nude awakening. We're not nude, but we are awakening, right? Just get in here, brighten up the inner corner, right? You see what it is. And then you can go in with a shimmer shade in the center, and then you can get at your outer corner. Let's use the same brush. With what? Should we go for, there are no shade names, but this sort of like cool tone brown, right? I've been looking at makeup, of course, on different social media, and I feel like cool tone makeup just looks so sophisticated, right? There's nothing wrong with warm tone makeup, but cool tone makeup just makes you look sophisticated and effortless, right? This may not be the best brush, but again, real world conditions. We're just trying to do a little something, see what's what, and spend some time blending it. But I know the deepest part of my eyeshadow, I like to be on the heaviest part of my lid. And you think you're not doing it dark enough or hard enough. I get really worried when I see people do the base of their eyeshadow. They put a big arc of black and then they put stuff over it, and I'm like, where are you going like that? How can you even put all that black on your eye? It looks glamorous, whatever, but unless you're going to a party or a concert at night, I don't know. I don't know what your lifestyle is, but that's like very unrealistic for me. Sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe I should spend a lot of time doing more, more extreme, more glam makeup. But then I look at Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle in particular, right? There's other royals who wear makeup, but when I look at their makeup and how pretty they look, it's not a lot of weird colors. It's not a lot of gack. It's really a very simple, just tapping into this copper shade with the same brush and doing a little center glitter. I have someone who's telling me we got married at a art show. It was like a part of the exhibit, and he keeps reminding me that we're married, and I'm like, I don't know, right? It's like, I think you missed some steps there, sir. But halo eye, right? Glitter in the center. I tended to be such a glitter in the inner corner person, but I think this is very pretty and wearable. The only thing that we could do to enhance this makeup is, again, finding some kind of liner. And this is where things go left. Where are the eyeliners? It's been a little while since we've done real makeup and just sat down to take the time to do it. And here we have our friend Marc Jacobs, who he's been all over TikTok with his 4-inch glamour nails. Have you seen this? I'm concerned that it might be, cultural appropriation, right? Like that he might be biting. I think African American women have been pioneers in the acrylic long nail world, and especially the way that he gestures with them. I'm not entirely certain that he's not kind of like cooning, right? I don't know. I can't do this technique with one hand. Forgive me. I'm just gonna attempt to tight line, attempt to line the inner top corner, and kind of arc down with the liner, and maybe take a little line out to the side. Not too long, not too far, not too far up, not too far down, right? Respecting my eye shape, because for a while when I was learning makeup, I was really doing the wing and far, and I couldn't find an angle that looked normal on me. And then I went to, but it makes a huge difference, look. I went to set, and then, a Japanese man did my hair, and then, I don't know, I think it was like a Brazilian man did my makeup, and he made just a little chunky wing, a little one. And I felt so liberated because it was a period piece, but I felt like, oh, I don't have to do this wing that doesn't look realistic on me, right? I want to do something that looks like it's flattering to me. And again, looking at Meghan Markle and Kate Middleton, their makeup, it hugs the eye, it's neutral colors. Rarely is it a dark lipstick. Rarely is it a, you know, I was surprised that Kate Middleton had black eyeliner on her wedding day, and it didn't even seem like it was tight line. It was like really her lash line, and it looked quite harsh, which I thought was, you know, it was what, 2011 or 12? I just thought, that might have been like the makeup for that time period. But again, this is Gel Lacquer Ultra Skinny Gel Eye Crayon in black, right? Brown is cool. I have quite dark hair. And now my liner is wandering below my eye, which is why I don't tend to wear a lot of black eyeliner during the day. But again, like, it's warm. I don't have the AC on. I am schwitzing hardcore, but I really wanted to see what this sweat absorbing face lotion would do in real world conditions. So from here, if we take just a little cheap angled brush, right? From our friends at Ioni, right? And we try to finesse our eyeliner. Just tap it in place, maybe, you know, stroke it a little bit, right? Get it? Peyton and Tyrone, just stroke it a little bit to make sure that it's even. Wiggle it into the lash line and try to make it look professional. We don't want to look too rock and roll, right? We want to look like maybe we're employed. I was telling the makeup artists at a particular studio this week, there was a woman she's got to be 70. She's been on the television since the 80s, right? I can't tell if she's from Australia or New Zealand, but she's beautiful, right? Work done, beautiful work. It looks more like work in real life than it does on television. It looks stunning. And her hair, little tiny size too. She was wearing a black skirt and black boots, and maybe 8 inches of her knee and her leg was visible. And I think they did the J-Lo highlight on her legs. And can I tell you, her legs looked like jewelry. I was like, you know, because I watch people put highlighter on their clavicle, and it, yeah, okay. We're going in that, right? But in daylight, in a daytime situation, it looked phenomenal. Phenomenal, like I know that I'm gonna do that. So taking the same brush and setting that eyeliner so that hopefully, despite sweating, it will have a higher likelihood of staying. And when we step out and we go to the gym, we will be able to see under extreme sweaty conditions whether the sweat absorbing lotion, setting spray, you know, I went to my friend's reading thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna have to perform, but I didn't. And I was relieved. I had memorized the dialogue. I was 3 different characters, but I was so exhausted from the week. And not everyone was great, but you know, they made a good effort. Some people were very like kind of theater performer people, and they were so wonderful and entertaining, but they weren't necessarily acting their characters. I was just talking to someone about that on the phone. It's like, you're acting, you're performing in a way that's very engaging, but your character in the script is supposed to be shy and performing, you know, on stage for the first time and having jitters about that. So if your character is already super flamboyant, super outgoing, then you're not doing the character. The one thing I have learned this week from watching makeup tutorials was the idea of using a brush to put translucent powder into your brows, right? So that your brows will take product better, right? Some people said, oh, do your brows before you put anything on your face. Uh-oh, this is the wrong powder. This is a Luminous Shine Control Skin Brightening Loose Powder. That's for a different day. But we want to get back into our super cheap, super white smoke and mirrors setting powder. Such an affordable product. I'll have to go look in a real mirror to see what it looks like, but I'm kind of thrilled about what it looks like. So we don't want a ton of this, but we want enough to kind of give us a non-slick base, right? We're trying to make our brows more grippy as we put product into them. And I have to say, my makeup is sort of staying where it's supposed to be. So maybe that is the power of the Mario Lopez setting powder, setting spray, as well as the sweat absorbing lotion. You know, you just want your makeup to stay on your face and not end up on your shirt because, you know, years of standing in the sun, putting ice packs in your shirt and in your uniform to try to stay upright, right? It's getting to be that time of year again. You know, if you can use the hot weather as a reason to finally get your, you know, weight management under control, it's a great time to do it because you'll be more comfortable. You'll be more, it'll just, you know, you won't regret it. You won't be like, wow, I wish I were still heavier. So thick it, stick it, should we go for that? Right? We don't lack brow, right? But this is in the shade Cool Ash Brown. So it's slightly lighter than our brow hair color. Our brows are, you know, you can see on the wand, brows are quite dark. But some of our hair is lighter than our brows. So we don't want our brows darker, and we don't want our brows darker than our hair that frames the face. We want some kind of compromise. And I feel like Cool Ash Brown, sometimes taupe, over our dark brows will be a, you know, good enough contribution to putting our brows into order. I don't hate my makeup without brows done, but since we're, you know, taking the time, I'm thinking about our friends Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle, who is launching a rosé wine brand, friends. Yeah. If you already have jam and you're not someone who needs dog biscuits, Miss Girl is providing us with rosé wine, right? The perfect gift. Bachelorette party, wedding shower, you know, sorority rush, whatever. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled for her. I'm really happy that she got out of there, right? If there's nothing else that you want to say about the whole situation, right? Nobody wants to disappear for 6 months. Not for health reasons, not for pouting reasons, not for no reason. And that was necessary or warranted or whatever you want to say about it. It certainly says something to me. LA Colors Lip Liner Pencil in the shade dark brown. That sounds right to me, right? No mascara, just a groomed brow, a little contour in the Asian style, nose, semicircle, semicircle, a little bit of nudge here, under the cheekbones, across the ear, across the jawbone, underneath to take out that all the extra calories we've been enjoying on set. Can I tell you what I got this week? My favorite chef made lemon meringue Belgian waffles with real lemon zest meringue and drizzled not with syrup but with sweetened condensed milk. Fire! And once he set the meringue on the Belgian waffles and he plated it for me, he used a torch so that, you know how people make Belgian waffles and then they sit and they get cold, so that everything was still warm? Ooh, I get shivers just thinking about it. This pencil is very red. But, you know, let's get some definition on the lips. Lippy lips, that's right. Our friend Kate Middleton is back on the public scene, although people did suggest that perhaps it wasn't really her, that because of deep fake technology, that maybe her face was mapped onto someone else's body. When you see people make that case, it is pretty convincing. But for my purposes, I think she's fine. I think she may have gotten a head wound and needed to have that handled, and she did. And whatever is coming next, that she is a participant. Liquid Catsuit matte lipstick from our friends at, is this Wet n Wild? Yes, Wet n Wild. Liquid Catsuit. So in order not to get the applicator messed up, we're gonna put it on the end of this makeup brush and try to get this on our lips. Right? Brown, and then putting this pale shade in the middle, right? Because that's how you do a glam lip. It's kind of a putty color. Some people actually just put concealer on their lips. I never know if that's okay or if it's not safe, but you know, don't swallow it. You'll be fine. But yeah, well, this is certainly more of an adventurous lip than our friends in the royal family can do. I'm always surprised that, you know, Meghan Markle religiously does a very plain pink lip, but still gets so much criticism and abuse for simply wearing nail polish, right? Or wearing no stockings in the summer, you know. But you know what happens? You know, you play along as long as you have to, and then you bounce. I think it's great. You know, they saw what it was. They saw what it was all about. They saw what they were going to get out of it. They served the people, they served the royal family. When the screws got tightened too much, they bounced like any normal person would, right? You're at a job, they acting funny, they trying to get you, you know, endangered, you know, send you somewhere dangerous for work, right? I remember shooting a show up in San Francisco in the Tenderloin district. Of all the places in San Francisco to shoot a show, we could have gone many places, right? A little Wet n Wild, Wild Shine Gloss Balm, right? Let's just get it on the end of the same brush just to give us a little shine. Try not to get so much lip color on the applicator, but it's a great applicator because you can actually wipe it off, unlike a doe foot. But, you know, brown liner that reads Rust on Me, and then add gloss. Oh, look, it's dripping down the sides. Where have Peyton and Tyrone gone? They probably would be very excited about that. All right, little gloss. Little overline in the middle on the top and on the bottom for that lip flip look. I am not a person with little tiny lips, so, you know, I don't necessarily think I need it, but, you know, I try to be up with the trends. and see what's going on. All right, I try to check in about what's happening with Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle and their businesses and whatever else is going on. But, you know, if this sweat absorbing lotion doesn't stop you from sweating, what's nice is that if you use primer, if you use gel liner, if you powder and spray your makeup down, even if you're sweating, it will stay on your face. You will still look made up and enhanced. And that is what it is. If you can get your hands on it, this I think would be a powerful addition to your summer makeup routine. Carpe, which means seize, as in seize the day, carpe diem in Latin. Sweat absorbing face lotion. They have an entire range of sweat absorbing products, and I will get into them as I pursue my work through this, you know, already hot summer. This lip combo looks very austere and very pretty in the mirror. So I want to go look in a different mirror, but you know, I probably should have sharpened my lip pencil before, but I'm not mad at these eyeshadow shades, and I do think that my contour here and here was very successful. Also here, also here. So there it is, my forehead contour. I'm liking it very, very much. I may have put too much lip gloss on this brush. Not sure what to do about that, but this is all the gloss these lips can take. I wouldn't necessarily wear this to work, but you know, if you are figuring out your glam look, then I think that this lip combo, Liquid Catsuit, yes, by Wet n Wild, Mega Last. We'll see if that's true. Nudie Patootie. All right, and the brown liner is what keeps it from looking cadaverous. Our blush is from Milani, and we just used this cream blush, a combination of 2 shades for that sunset effect. And I am not mad. I am eager to check it in a different mirror to see what we're working with. Whatever shall I do with this brush? It still has a bunch of lip gloss on it. Well, a state of confusion. I had wanted to get into some different products, but I feel like this is a fine start, right? And rediscovering these inexpensive products from that I got at the dollar store, the Wet n Wild and this very pale setting powder. I am not disappointed. I am disappointed in the state of my silicone sponge, however. It deserves a beautiful remembrance because it was my ride or die. So beautifully soft, so wonderful, right? But checking your contour as you talk, that your contour is resting where you want it to. Not too low, not all over, not big giant brushes, not a lot of gack, right? But you need the makeup products that will do what you want them to do, right? Just like Name That Tune. You want to play as few notes to get you a result that looks finished, right? Do we need a lash? Do we need mascara? I don't think so. With a black liner, I guess we could add it, but I think it would probably get in the way of us seeing our actual eyes. But maybe next time. Anyway, thank you for joining me. That's the update. Is Kate Middleton accepting, going along with, or even wanting a way out of the royal family? And I would, at this juncture, say yes. Separate residence, a step back from public duties, and tolerating Prince William traveling alone, doing events alone, and taking the children out alone, which is stunning. Something huge has happened here, and is that something huge? Called KATE-XIT. I'll report back to you tomorrow, stars, but thank you for for joining me. I'll see you next time.